Afternoon, everybody. Kendall here. Texas weather, you gotta love it. It was like dreary and overcast, and now it's sunny and bright and tank top weather. And then it's supposed to be rainy and stormy and kind of muggy, I guess, probably with the weather that we're having. But yeah, today is a freaking phenomenal day. I always feel like I give a weather report at the front of Conscious Coffee. It should be like, Conscious Coffee with Kendall. Here's today's North Texas weather report to start off the conversation. Yeah. That's what happens, right? Weather report. It's that surface level stuff. Well, we're waiting for everything else to flow in because I type up a title and I'm like, okay, where am I going with this? Where am I going to go with this conversation? What am I actually talking about? It was just the title that came in. So today's topic is getting off is not conscious. It's not consciousness. It's not living consciously. It's not relating consciously. It's not sexing consciously. This idea of getting off is definitely not about consciousness. It is not about connection. It's not about presence, and it's not about the relationship. It is about just the energy release, the stress release, using a tool, a toy, or a person, or including our hands, for the sole purpose of just releasing stress. So, we really take all of the humanness out of it, all the intimacy out of it, all the vulnerability out of our sex and out of our intimate relationship when we go, I just need to get off. I've been blessed with this conversation a couple times over the last few days, and of course, it is a major conversation. I don't talk a lot of sex on Conscious Coffee, even though one of the main things that I coach people through is conscious relationships and conscious sexing and all that goes into that. I don't do a lot of sexual conversation here on Conscious Coffee because Conscious Coffee is about life, love, abundance, and, the whole gamut of things, not just sex. But today I went, we need to talk about sex. Let's talk about sex today because, well, number one, I have a workshop coming up. So anybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, guess what? I have a beautiful, beautiful turned-on workshop all on oral sex coming up. And that's probably what I was doing. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, a lot of people, we think about, and I have a few clients, definitely of the male variety, that say, I just wish my woman would give me more blowjobs. I really just need to get off more, and I don't want to bug her. Wish that she would just give me a blowjob so I could just, so why can't she just take care of me like that? Why can't she just get me off real quick? It doesn't take that long. It's not that big of a deal if she gives me a blowjob, gives me a quick hand job. I just need to release my world of my day. I need to get it out of my system. I'm just like, it's too bottled up. I don't know how to, I need that release. And I don't want to do it for myself. I want to be taken care of. Well, there's nothing wrong with being taken care of. There's nothing wrong with, having co-interactions with our partner. It's the best sex definitely is the sex that we can have intimately and vulnerably with our partner. With that said, intimacy and vulnerability only happen when we're present, when we're conscious in the moment. If we're totally stuck in the getting, we're not offering everything that we could potentially offer to ourselves or to them. We're also limiting our pleasure, which is often what I talk about on Conscious Coffee. How do we limit our pleasure? Because our pleasure is not just in our sex. We gain pleasure through so many different streams. It is amazing how we are built for pleasure, but we limit our pleasure in so many different ways. And in our sex, we do it big time. We really, truly limit our sex, and we limit that pleasure that we get from it, from this getting off energy. The idea of, I've had a really stressful day, I need to get off. And then we get that little the hormone drop, the chemical drop, and then we're tired and we're like, okay, now I can sleep good. Now I can, great, now you can sleep good. But how present were you with your body? How present were you with your partner if a partner was involved? How, like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best orgasm that you've ever experienced, 1 being what you typically get when you're just, taking care of yourself, getting off. How often do you get those mind-blowing orgasms when you're just looking for the get it off energy and just like, come on, I'm so pent up, I'm so built up here, I just need to drop my load, as guys like to sometimes say. And it's like, really? Really? And I love it when guys always come up. I've had guys in the past that I dated for a brief amount of time. Here's the reason. Part of the reason why I dated them for a brief amount of time. They would tell me how big their load was and how much they wanted to give it to me. I'm just like, oh my God, really? This is what you think? This is what you think is a turn on? You think that this is a good come on? This is good relationship stuff about coming, about how big it's gonna. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. No. The reality is that if we want to expand our container, our ability to enjoy lots of abundance, to really take in blessing, and to, expand everything in our world and all subject matters of our world, we have to learn how to allow ourselves, to give ourselves permission to receive pleasure at a greater level. And when we have this getting off mentality, we limit our pleasure down to practically nothing, because it's like we just go, whoo, and we touch it and we're like, oh, yay. And then we're, no, never mind. I don't need any more. I got my little hit of it and now I'm good. So we get a whiff of that pleasure. We get a whiff of that abundance. We get a whiff of the thing that we're wanting to manifest, and then we just drop it. And we're like, nope, that's good. That's good. And we push this until the nth degree. We push it until we're completely empty, or we've emptied out our partner, in some way. Because guess what? If we are with a partner and we're consistently having quickies, then one side, the man, typically, if we're doing traditional relationship here, male, female, typically the man wants a quickie. Now, there are women out there that want quickies, so this doesn't hit 100%, okay? Just want to clarify that real quick. But in general, a lot of the times what you run into is men going, well, can't we just have a quickie? We don't have time to put in all of this foreplay. We don't have time to put in all of this attention to this and to this and to this. So why can't we just have a quickie? And the idea is that, we think that quickies are really cool because Hollywood has sold us on the concept of quickies being hot, quickies being good, quickies getting you both where you want to be, and then it's just this like pom 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 thing, and it's surefire. And it's a bunch of bull. It's a bunch of bull. Quickies allow one person, the man, to get off quickly, and the woman to be used as the vessel where he gets off in or on. That's what happens in a quickie. And because it takes a woman, and here's the thing, without foreplay, the physical body of a woman is not ready for penetration for 20 to 40 minutes. That means that if you penetrate a woman before her body is actually open and ready for it, guess what happens? You're not only you're causing damage in your intimacy, but you're actually causing physical damage to her body because her body's not ready for it. So it's like, it's like all of a sudden you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and yeah, maybe the vaginal canal can open and can shift, and you'd be like, well, but she's I never have that on, and today I have it on. My bad. Okay. So even if you go, well, we used lube, or we used spit, or, and guess what, guys? Spit does not make everything stay lubed up. It dries like that. It does not keep things where you want it to be. You want natural lubrication. If the woman is not naturally lubricated, then she's not ready to be penetrated. Plain and simple. If she's not naturally lubricated, she's not ready to be penetrated. What you are doing, you have to understand that the skin of the vagina is just as thin as the skin on your eyelid, if not thinner in some points. And when you force yourself in for a quickie, the body is still shut down. The muscles are not ready. The blood flow has not gone to all the parts that it needs to go to. The skin of the vagina is not lubricated properly, and it's basically like you are just tearing the skin, because what you're doing is you're pulling and you're causing almost like an Indian burn, except on the vaginal canal. Now, granted, it doesn't always hurt on the female side. It doesn't always hurt, but I can tell you what, we do have repercussions over the course of time when this is repeated over and over and over again. So multiple quickies, or all you ever get is quickies. That's all we have time. We have little kids. We don't have time for something else. We only can do quickies. I need to get off. I need to relieve my stress. I on the male side, and the woman is just being used as a masturbation tool, and her skin is just getting torn, and it's causing physical damage. It's causing nerve damage. It's causing emotional separation because she's now just feeling used because she's not actually having the time spent on her that she needs. And I'm not just talking about the sexual time. I'm talking about the heart-centered time. I'm talking about the mental time. I'm talking about the emotional time. All of that comes into play. Foreplay is not just about the physical act of like oral sex or toys or fingers or something like that. It's not about that. Foreplay is about connection to women. Us women need you guys to slow the fuck down and to take just a little bit of time. Meaning, pay attention to her outside of just trying to get sex from her, okay? Actually give a rat's rear end and care a little bit. Inquire. Touch her without it being a sexual touch. Hold her hands. Play with her skin. Play with her hair. Kiss her frequently. You know, figure out what her love languages are, what those erogenous zones are, and go after those consistently to keep her in a more aroused state of being, so it doesn't take 40 minutes to get her into the sexual mode so that her body can actually experience sex quicker. But still, you're just going to require a little bit more time. Now, I know that some people will argue, and there's, oh no, my woman likes it, and even women will be like, I just like the quickie. I don't want it, I don't need that foreplay time. I don't need this. And I beg to differ. I do. I beg to differ. I'd go to bat on this one because the physical body is the physical body, the emotional body is the emotional body, and it messes with us in both ways and then some. I can guarantee that if you think that quickies are conscious, if you think that quickies are presence, if you think that quickies have anything to do with love outside of the person who is being, penetrated in that moment and not really having the orgasm, not really having the ability to connect, to dive deep into themselves and into what is going on. Now that person might be in a loving state because they're offering up something to their partner, but chances are, let's keep in mind, the majority of women out there say yes when they mean no, offer their bodies up because they don't want to mess up the apple cart in any way of their relationship. So they just go, well, I have to. And sex is for him most of the time anyway. So there you go. I'll just give that to him, and that'll be that with that. At the end of the day, if you're having most of your sex as quickies, if you're not taking time, if you are not slowing the fuck down in different ways, and if you are not present in sex, presence meaning to actually be present with your partner, not caught on the feeling of, oh my God, I'm going to come. Oh my God, I'm going to come. If you're just caught right there and you're not actually present in the moment and breathing into that moment, then if you're, to sum it up, if you are in, I just need to get what only damaging your partner's body, causing damaging the trust, the intimacy of that relationship, and you're making it absolutely impossible for your partner to truly become vulnerable with you and to lean in or to become embodied. So quickie energy is not consciousness. It is not consciousness in any fashion or form. It is off, and it is about using our partner for that speed of release, using your partner for process. This is not love. This is not consciousness. This is not intimacy. This does not build trust. It is damaging in so many different ways. So many different ways. On that note, back to the awesome workshop that I already mentioned early on. Miss Addison Bell and I are teaching an oral intimacies class at the end of March here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area down in Dallas. We'll be teaching this class. This is a once-a-year class. We don't teach it, but only in March. Normally we teach it closer to like March 14th, 15th, or closer to around St. Patrick's Day. This hit right at the end of March. And this class is for him and for her. It is co-ed. It is all about oral sex for both parties. And guess what we're going to be doing? Yes, we're going to be teaching some phenomenal tips and tricks sides. But what you're going to learn in this class is consciousness. What does presence mean in your oral sex? You know what the best oral sex is? The best oral sex is the sex that your partner wants to provide to you and that you want to receive from your partner. If both parties are not totally game for it, not turned on to it, then it's crap. It's not good. Somebody is definitely crossing their own boundaries, letting you cross their boundaries, is not into it, and in a long way around it is experiencing massive trauma from it. You know, I have clients out there who are totally anti oral sex, and I just don't understand. And then when it comes right down to it, you know, 20, 30 years into a relationship of giving themselves orally over to their partner, what ends up coming of it is that there is so much rage and bitterness in the relationship, and that the friendship part of the relationship is pretty much null and void. If the relationship can survive, it's amazing. If it does, it requires work and dedication to it. But even worse than that is that the one party who has been saying yes or not being given the option to say yes has been experiencing oral rape consistently, and that is very damaging. So we are going to be talking about in this workshop about the consciousness of our oral sex, about having a turned on partner. What are the things that we can do as individuals to help our partner feel safe during oral sex? Because you know what? A lot of people say that oral sex isn't really truly sex. That's a bunch of bogus, because it's actually more traditional, you know, vaginal penetration, what we call sex, you know, penis and vagina. That oral sex is even more intimate, because what are we doing? We are taking our hands and we are taking our mouths, our faces, and we're planting them onto our partner's genitals. So we are taking the two most intimate aspects of our being and putting them together, and we're like up close and personal. So the scent, the taste, the energy that's coming from somebody, the whole ability of like, hey, you know, like for guys, oral sex, like, hey ladies, we got our teeth, right? Like this is a very delicate part of a man's body, and they're entrusting us to not damage them. Vice versa, us women, we're entrusting our man to not damage us, to appreciate. But there are things that both sides, so that, yeah, a lot of times I don't like that. I don't like the scent. I don't like the flavor. I'm a texture person. This, you know, what about manscaping, or I like to clean up that area, all of this different stuff. Well, it's that, but then it is also the consciousness, the energy that is coming into play in the oral sex. Let Addison and I show you, if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, let us show you some of the ways that you can benefit yourself and benefit your sex with your partner orally, and really truly build the intimacy and experience the vulnerability that you were probably desiring, that connection, because it's not just about getting off. And if it is, then you're not in love with your partner, okay? Real there. It's not a love thing if we're just trying to get off. That is us using another person for masturbation tool, okay? If we are truly loving of our partner, then what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to have connection. We're wanting to be vulnerable. We're wanting to trust and to be trusted. We're wanting to be seen and to be experienced, and we're wanting depth. We're not wanting surface in this moment. Our world is surface. We don't want surface in our sex, yet that's what we constantly offer. Sex. This is back to that conversation that I had at the beginning around we limit our pleasure. We limit our potential of pleasure in our sex. We just basically go, oop, I touched that. Woo, that felt good. Oh my God, that was amazing. Oh my God, oh my God. And then, yeah. You know what a really good orgasm does for a woman? Not only is she will want more sex because she'll be more turned on, but a really good orgasm keeps a woman hormonally balanced. It allows her it actually balances the cortisol levels in her body. Women who have great orgasms also, their body completely transformed because of the great orgasms. They are more connective. They're more confident. They have more clarity, more creative energy, more drive, less fatigue. They're not a roller coaster of emotions. They're definitely they're more harmonized between their masculine and their feminine. They're in their feminine energy, but they still have just that drop of masculine so that they can get all the stuff done that they need. They are really great with all of their relationships. They're not suffering from depression. They're not suffering from anxiety. They're not suffering from fatigue. They have all of this beautiful energy in them. That's what a really good orgasm can do. And a really good orgasm can sit with a woman for anywhere from hours to days, up to like a week. You can still feel that beautiful orgasm in your system when you are experiencing great sex. This great sex can happen orally, or it can happen the traditional sexy way, right, of penis and vagina here. But when a woman really truly has one of those deep, beautiful orgasms, she's just in a more turned on state. If you're with a woman, when you want her in that state, and here's the thing, she's not going to not want more of it. Okay? She's not going to be hungry and like trying to constantly get that little hit and just accepting an edge of something, like a little whiff of it. I mean, that would be crazy. If you're starving to death, which the majority of women in this world are, starving to death for orgasm, guess what? It's like walking through a kitchen and you get a whiff of food and you accept that as your sustenance for the week, the month. And you go, ooh, that smelled good. Yay. Yay. All right, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, really? No, you want to walk back through that kitchen consistently, because now you got to get a little hit of that sustenance, and you're just coming back, and it's a short circuit of our sex, and it is a limiting of our pleasure. Guys, you do it too. When you are consistently you don't have purpose in your life, you're not being present with your partner, and you're just in that get off energy, well, guess what? Or just whiff of sex, whiff of the potential of your orgasm, and you think that it's all that, but it ain't fucking anything. Take it from somebody who has experienced some orgasms in her lifetime, some partners that have allowed that for me, and have really those orgasms that really come together as, and we both get moved and we're both conscious in that, the depth of connection, the depth of love, the intimacy, and just the full-on beauty that it does for all of our life, it is so worth the time, just a little bit of extra time and the little bit of extra focus and presence that we give to ourselves, to our partner, and to this beautiful act that we know is sex, whether it is oral or other. It is worthy of our time. If you don't have the time for yourself, if you don't have the time for your partner, then don't do it. Don't do it, because that is going to cause trauma. It is going to cause a short circuit in your energy, and it's going to cause total chaos in your world. All right, local people, Oral Intimacies, March 28th, here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or people who can get to Dallas-Fort Worth. Make it here. Learn some amazing tips. Learn about presence. Learn about sex, guys and gals and couples. This workshop is definitely for you. We will be filming this as well, so it will be available on both of our websites as far as an online course. Look for that to be coming out. A version, but it is related as much as what we both would like, so that will be coming to that. I love you guys. Stop accepting average bedroom. Stop accepting average and ordinary in your sex, in your consciousness, and your relating, in every aspect. You're worth so much more. And sex, it also ripples out into all other aspects of your world. If you are plateauing in your sex, I guarantee that you're plateauing someplace else in your life too. Some other subject, probably your money or your career or your relationships or your health, or maybe all of it. Look at you have just hit the ceiling of have, or where do you feel like, oh, it's just not worth it? Like if you look at your sex and it's just meh, then how are you approaching life? Because you might be just feeling like life is meh. Let's change. I have available 2 2 private coaching opportunities available. So if you would like to experience private coaching with me on this subject or on others, experiencing the abundance of all of life, let me know. You can reach me, comment section, private message, text, wherever you want to get to me. And as always, stop existing, start living. I love you guys, and I'll catch you tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee.